I am live in the studio, joined by Moonchild Sanelly.
Georgie Rogers, fit them high, take them girls and make them cry.
Yeah. Oh my God, I get serenaded as the intro. I love that.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. It's so good to see you. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you so much for having me.
How has your trip been? I mean, it just looks like you've been having the most fun. All the shows look incredible. Tell me about, this time in the UK, the last few weeks.
It's been ridiculous. Like, the shows have been sick. It's been ridiculous. So, there's elements of overwhelming, during the shows, because, people are singing back the music. It's crazy. It's wild. It's just crazy. It's super wild. I need more vocabulary, but it's been ridiculously awesome.
Yeah.
Just seeing the impact of just the music and in unison with the different age groups, with the different sexual orientations. It's just been just a feeling touching everyone. And whatever age you are, whatever experiences you've had, if I'm talking about rejection, where you can feel it when you weren't picked to go to the camp at creche, and when you were rejected by a boy in adulthood, when you were rejected. So just rejection being the summary of the story and not alienating or excluding anyone from having felt that feeling because of what story it's been narrated through. Yeah. So it's been really ridiculous. It's been wild.
And just such a visceral, when you can really see how your music's connecting, that must be the most golden feeling of all time.
It's trippy. I think that's my drug, actually. Just experiencing the people go through. It's one, because in studio all the time I always say, before I write a song, I always imagine my audience hearing the song for the first time and not being excluded in the hook, so therefore they are included hearing the song for the first time. And seeing it happen in real life, you'll be singing the song for the first time as well, and it's it's coming out on my album, and everyone is already hooked onto the hook. And seeing it, it's one thing, I'm creating that, picturing it and visualizing it. It's another thing, experiencing it. It's just wild.
Yeah.
It's wild.
And we'll just say, I'll shout out my friend Louise, who you met at the show.
Oh, yes!
I think she ended up dancing on the show, didn't she?
Absolutely. We ended up dancing together. She ended up dancing on stage. We ended up dancing on the dance floor, and we ended up linking up later.
Yeah, shout out Louise LOM.
Shout out Louise.
She's my most colourful friend. She's just
epic.
Yeah, she's amazing. So tell me, I guess we're getting Full Moon, your third studio album, comes in January.
Yes.
It's kind of really into the build-up now, just before it's out in the world. But tell me a little bit about making this record.
With this record, I feel like there's a bit more insight with regards to my struggles before getting into the empowering figure, and so I think I found ways to express the hurtful experiences I experienced throughout my journey, because while you're focused on the goal, there's no time to cry or dwell on anything. You're just focused on the goal.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest intentions that I've always one of the biggest things that I've always been intentional about was not dying from my diary, which is, I've watched so many greats die from their diary, overdose and all that jazz. And this is I'm not going to die from my diary. I'm not going to use what was my license out of my dark space, therefore liberating everyone, and therefore forgetting who I am while I'm being celebrated. So I think this album is the one that shows my let go as well, because, for instance, songs like Ndanam, it takes a level of, I had to forgive to be able to play the male role that I needed in my life, and to be able to write a letter and have the empathy and just be able to write the different narratives that caused someone to just not choose you. And that's, so there's a lot of the behind the scenes before we get to and just situations that were so hurtful that I didn't have time to dwell on. When the other one, my final one, is just all about the pride and the girl I've become and all that jazz. And after so many sacrifices, terminations and all that jazz, and no one really talks about that, the sacrifices that you have to go through outside of already having to fight harder because you own a vagina in studio. It doesn't matter how great you are.
Yeah.
And another one is definitely, I think, so I think you get to get into my softer side. before the liberator side comes in. There's insights to that with this album.
Yeah, and you've really poured. It's such a personal record, and you've just poured everything into it. And I feel like the Moonchild Sanelly sound, you know, there's you pick on so many genres, and your tunes are so exhilarating. There is such an energy to your music. What would you say is like the special sauce for this record? Like when you're in the studio and you're like, this song, we've done it, we've got it. Like this is the vibe. What are those ingredients that you're like, that has to be there?
My audience has to be there. My audience has to be there when I'm writing the hooks for whatever story I'm telling. So my audience is always in my head. Whether new or old, it's just, I just picture my beams, it's my audience, they're always in my head. That's the one consistent thing. And I'm about, let's get a good song. I'm not touchy about something that needs to be scrapped, because sometimes you'll write a song and the last word while you think you're done is the beginning of the song. So I think it's also one disclaimer I have every time I go into studio with anyone is just like, I'm not personal. Scrap it until we get a vibe. Just having my name on it is not enough. We need a real vibe. So that's another thing. I'm not personal in studio. But I'm very.
You don't mess around, you know. It's like
I don't play. I don't play.
Yeah.
No, I don't play. I don't lie to myself either. I'll be like, my attention span is not captured long enough by this one, so therefore I need to rewrite. I need to write another one, but you're not leaving until it's done.
Yes.
And so those are the things I think. But who I am translates all the time, because I am joy, I am happiness, I am direct, I do speak the truth, I speak my mind, I just do that on beat, I feel. So I just bring myself as I am, because then I just open up and I write and I tell another story on whatever genre we're doing at the time.
And would you say that's always been a thing for you, that you've always been able to speak your mind and feel sort of more comfortable in that? Because you are, you know, you normalize big key issues and you talk about stuff so openly and so honestly. So has that been a journey to do that more, or have you always just kind of felt comfortable in that zone?
I think, you know, when they say you're a black sheep, you start noticing the different reasons why, and talking out of turn was one of them. And I think one of the nicknames was Kavash, which is like forward as a kid, because I would be asking all the time. So I think another contributing factor was definitely when I was already writing how I think, which is I speak my mind. But in poetry, I was shocked by how shocked they were by my poetry, because it was too direct. And I also couldn't relate to all the girls that were writing from a victim point of view. Like, oh, I got violated. I don't know that woman. I didn't know that woman. I came from women that would just make things happen, whether they were criminals or whatever, whether dark or bright, it was make it happen.
Yeah.
So I couldn't relate to those, which contributed even harder in the fact that now I'm conscious of, like, you know what, let me make you shake with the truth, actually.
Yeah.
And let me tell you about the women I come from, the women I am. And I feel like that point in poetry just got me going in harder when I realized that, no, man, there's so many different shades of women, and the one that's represented here by many is not the one I know, and it's definitely not me.
Yeah, yeah. And you've called the album Full Moon.
Yes.
Did you see the Beaver Moon in the UK?
Yes.
Oh my God, I have such a thing about moons in my life. It's so strange. Like all the key people I've lost in my life, I've lost them on a full moon. And which is always kind of so whenever it comes, every month, like I feel it, I see it, and if I see it in the sky, I like proper stop and look at it, and the photo never does it justice.
Oh, it never does. I tried zoom in. No, it doesn't.
But tell me why you called it that, because there's a whole beautiful meaning behind calling your album Full Moon.
I think this is the part where there's a level in my fight for my voice to exist is not fueled from all the darkness only now. You know, it's now the message stands for what it stands for based on the experiences that I experienced, because there's no way I'm going to go back to a toxic relationship just to get content that is going to touch people. I can find things in living. So I feel like this one is that part where I don't die from my diary. It's that part where I operate from a healthier space, because I'll tell you this, there's a conversation we had before even doing the album on some, like, I'm not struggling like I used to. What am I going to write about? And it's crazy because once in studio, things come. And I just suddenly had words to emotions that were evoked by whatever production was being played. And I let it happen.
Yeah.
So this one is definitely my arrival, because I feel like all those other years were just like solidifying my foundation, because this thing is big in my head. It's so big. This feels like the walls are now, we're building the walls now. You can count 10 to 18 years. But the thing is, you need to remember there's no expiry date to your dreams. As long as you're doing, you'll never be tired doing yourself. And the option is to win or win, you know? And so it's definitely, you get to see me in my full form, I feel, because no one even knows, like, I've got a quiet side and things like that. And I like stillness and silence when I'm not, I'm the too direct, but like I'm an ambivert. So like everything is like super, super everything. And so, because I feel like it's those sides where I look in the mirror after running away from home and knowing that actually I know my family is watching, so I'm not going to give them the satisfaction. I'm going to win, you know? And I think you get to meet the vulnerable parts of the moon.
Yes. I love that. And win, win, and win. This is it. Okay, we're going to play Do My Dance. I've got so much more to chat to you about. So Moonchild Sanelly is not going anywhere. But let's play Do My Dance, which is from the new record. Yes. And then we'll chat more after this. Do My Dance, Moonchild Sanelly, who is live in the studio on this month's show. And I've got to ask about the video for this. This is so good. You basically went into a carnival, like a fun fair.
Literally.
So much fun.
Super fun.
Filming on the waltzers, though. Like, I once went... I can't go on the waltzers. They make me feel so sick.
Which one is that?
The teacups, like the one that spin around.
You can't... What?
Do you know... Yeah, do they not make you feel sick?
Nothing makes me feel sick besides pregnancy.
Oh my God.
Get it, but it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Like, especially because we were doing like at 3 minutes at a time.
Okay, yes. So
like we weren't even doing the short trips. We were doing like as long as the song basically to get the take.
Yes.
And again and again.
Yeah.
So we had the carnival for the day basically to just
amazing
rock.
Yeah, I was imagining you having to do take 44 on the waltzers and you coming off feeling like
oh honey, I was even doing the anaconda.
Yes.
And he's just like, oh my hair. But I've got a camera here. It was wild, but it was beautiful.
It looks beautiful. It looks so good. What a fun shoot. So I want to talk a bit about South Africa, because you're originally from Port Elizabeth. You came up through the Durban poetry music scene and then relocated to Johannesburg. I know these places actually because my partner's from Joburg and Durban.
Oh, is it?
So I went for the first time a couple of years ago to Johannesburg and Durban, having been to Cape Town previously when I was much younger. So I kind of know these places. So I'm wondering, tell me a bit about the scene that you kind of came up through. What was it like? What was it like there? You know,
from Durban.
Yeah, Durban and Joburg and the music.
The scene in Durban was, it was the poetry scene, and so it was also attached to the soul and the soulful hip hop spaces.
Yeah.
And so that's when I actually was like, okay, I need more. So I went from the poetry space and I started tapping into the hip hop space. And I was like, I want more. And then I went into the jazz, the opening act, and doing different things, like with different genres now. And I just jump on any mic anytime. So if there was a mic, I just say, yes, I do that genre. I think that's also what's contributed into my ability to storytell in any genre. I just get the mic and I freestyle and come up with something on the spot. And in that space, I started noticing how many people were talking about like, oh, the system this, the system that, but no one was making it work for them. And then the other people that were making money, they weren't following the music thing because they weren't really like, they were like, oh, whatever the system. So they would give like, they'd buy beer for like the artists, and then you just like sing, and then you've got free booze or whatever.
Yeah.
And I looked at this thing and I was like, I just arrived. These people who've been doing this, have been having these kind of chats for a very long time. And I've arrived and they're still having these chats, and it sounds like it's going to be a very long time, and it's not making sense to me. I'm not going to be broke from my art. And because I used to ask, how are you 35? Tell me about the system. Teach me about the system when you're still in your mama house. How is the system not working for you? Like, is it baby, you know a little too much? You're crippled. by your knowledge. Because what are you talking about? And so with that, I was like, I'm not going to be that one.
Yeah.
And I moved and I went to Durban. So when I created my sound in Durban, that's when I was just like, I think I decided idiots roll in numbers because no one understood me. And and I had my own thing. So I had to learn to do my own gigs, my own events, and for rent and all that jazz. And then I was like, I don't even have a competition here. I'm in my own lane.
Yeah.
So I left, I went to Joburg.
Yeah.
And my plan in Joburg was to do like a couple of billboards, do like something big, and then move to the UK, London specifically, followed by New York and Japan.
Yeah.
And this is before ever traveling. And so when I got to Joburg, I mean, I'm literally I'm still moving according to my script when I moved to Joburg. Never be stuck anywhere, but always be about the growth. And then in that space, I was in the alt spaces. Because even in Durban, I was in more the pubs, whiskey, Coke, specials, those kind of
Yeah.
brandy, Coke, Clippies and Coke. Those specials, it's just cheap alcohol, it's just like live bands and all that jazz. I was in a lot of those spaces because my music kind of made sense there.
Yeah.
Even though it wasn't rock, it wasn't, it was still my future ghetto funk. So it's like peculiar, but it made sense there because I think everyone is just whatever, just do you know.
Yeah.
Then I went to Joburg, and in Joburg there was more of an alternative scene there.
Yes.
So there I basically linked with the right people from when I got there with regards to just actually getting my album out, the first album, because 80% of the music that I had created in Durban, creating my sound, made it into my first album in Joburg. So someone understood the vision and we went in.
Yeah.
And
that's the vibe I got from the two cities. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's when it started. There again, I was doing my own gigs for rent and stuff like that. Because even in the alt space, like I'd reached my top there, and it wasn't enough because I was like, it was great. I'm grateful for it, for the fact that I can do 1 hour shows and stuff like that, because that's what it is in the world. But when you make commercial in SA, you just do the radio stuff, and they don't want your entire catalog. If they're paying for 30 minutes is a lot of money. It's like a lot. So you probably don't even get motivated to do long shows anyway, because it's just like come in, come out. That's why you can do like 8-10 shows a night. You literally hop in. That's what the artists do. You hop in, do the hits, go do the hits, and you clock in money. This season is the season at home right now. Yeah, like you make the most money. And so I just wanted my sound. I wanted anyone that thinks of me when they say Moonchild, they think Moonchild. Not like, I didn't find it to be a compliment when you would say, oh, you sound like someone that already existed. That's when I literally stopped listening to music, period. And everyone I liked as well stopped listening to everything just for me to carve my own sound. And
which you've done.
Definitely. But it was a very intentionally. It was intentional. It was intentional because I never found it to be a compliment when you said it sounded like something that existed. Yeah. And that just came with my personality in general, whether it was in fashion or whatever. It's just, it's me.
And we're born the same year, you know. So we know what it was like, pre-social media, pre-internet. And then post-internet, social media and things. How have you found that kind of, coming up and, I guess, using it more as a vehicle to get you, more well-known? And then as your career's kind of, like the last few years, it's just, you're known by so many more people around the world. That people are finding your music and connecting with it.
Yeah. I use it. I definitely use it. One thing about me is, because I've watched a lot of people growing up, and I'd be like, I like that one. The power of reinventions, because they educate themselves with what's happening in the times. The power of this is because of this. Don't die from a diary because you're great. Okay, I'm definitely not going to do this. So those are literal, were real lessons. So I'd say I'm curious. And so I don't find, if there's something like AI now, I'm here for it. As long as it contributes to my business, I'm here for it. If it's the currency currently, I will make the currency. So I don't operate with ego because ego stands growth.
Yeah.
And so I'm about whatever is coming in. If it makes sense to my business, I'm there for it. If it doesn't make sense, there's people there for it to contribute it to my business. Basically, I'm about anything new because my growth and my art is not for today only. It's my life. And part of being a part of this life and existing and being currency currently, whatever that currently will be in 10 years, in 20 years, is exactly that. Being teaching yourself about what it is, the attention span of whatever, all that stuff contributes to just how you choose to move.
Yeah.
While just doing your art happily. So
Yeah. Well, I first found your music around the time, I think it's 2021, around the time I heard Yebo Mama.
Oh my God.
I fell in love with that tune, and I brought it in because I was like, we should play it, because I mean, it's an older one from you, but
Yeah.
I love it. Can you tell me anything about this or any stories about it?
I feel like the message with this one is so clear. People go to Joburg and they forget to go back home, and it swallows them and they go back in a casket. So it's like, don't worry, I'll be back. I'm just out here to hustle. I shall be back. Let's go. Basically.
Yeah.
It's like, don't forget home.
Yeah.
It's less black text, but more not forgetting who you are, because you've still got a home, so you can go back home.
Yeah.
Just remember the mission, remember the reason, and stick to the plan.
And you're a mama as well, aren't you?
Yes.
How have you found that, kind of, balancing your music career and being mum?
I feel like I've always had a great support system with regards to me being able to chase my dreams fully. I made babies having sex. I'm singing about the sex I had to make them. So it's like, it's literally it's also their norm. Like, literally, it's their norm. Their mom's always traveling, always working. But I've got the greatest, support system ever. Like, the greatest. So they're stable, they're secure, they're loved. I'm here getting the pig and bringing the bacon while living my ultimate at the same time.
Yeah.
And my biggest motivation also with them being in my life is I've never even had a call center job. I always wanted waitressing or whatever, something quick where I can talk to people, because I was like, I'm not going to teach them survival. I'm going to teach them that your dreams are possible and valid, and they come true. And on top of that, it was, if I die today and they say they want to be an aeroplane, no one can say that's impossible, because their entire existence is paid through me living my dreams.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
Nothing is impossible.
Okay, let's play it. This is Yebo Mama. More from Moonchild Sanelly after this. So that is Yebo Mama, and we are live with Moonchild Sanelly on Soho Radio. That just sounds so awesome. I love that tune. Love it. Still sounds amazing, especially on these speakers. Sounds amazing. So obviously you're playing Brighton tonight.
Yes.
How exciting. So is that the end? Is this the last show for now, and then you're back next year?
Yes, this is the last show for now.
Yeah. And what are you looking forward to Brighton? Have you done Brighton before?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
I've
a great
done
city.
some festivals and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? It's so crazy because at the time you don't even know where you're at. I'd be like, am I the second B, or the first B, the third B?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Brighton was the third B, Bristol was the second B.
There's loads of Bs,
and
actually.
Birmingham was,
Birmingham. There's loads.
So it's just like, which B are we at? And so I'm looking forward to it, because they've all been really ridiculous. So I'm looking forward to the closing. And it's my birthday tomorrow. So we're closing on
fellow Scorpio.
I figured you were a Scorpio.
Yeah,
I figured you gave me Wednesday as fuck.
Wednesday.
As fudge.
You can swear.
You say, oh my God, you gave me Wednesday as fuck. Like, literally.
I love that. Oh my God, that's
when
so
is your
cool.
birthday?
The 2nd. Yeah. So yours is
20th.
20th. Oh, I love that. Oh, same as my partner's mum.
She's
Shout
a bad bitch.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. The big Scorpio energy.
Oh,
I love it.
I thought I was literally, I promise you gave me Wednesday AF.
We get a bad rep, but we are so good. We're so great.
No, it's because they came incorrect. If you come correct, you're going to get to know.
Yeah.
But until then,
yeah.
you're going to be stung.
Yeah. It's like, what they say about school, it's like, you forgive, but you never forget.
Absolutely not.
Also loyal as anything, like the most,
Yep. It's
and
ridiculous.
generous, yeah.
I can't, I've tried it. I can't juggle.
Yeah.
I can't juggle. I give my attention to a person at a time.
Yeah.
And if I don't care about none of them.
Yeah.
But once I care about anyone, everyone's disappeared.
Yeah.
I do one at a time. I can't split myself. Yeah. I can't, because it's all or nothing.
Yeah.
How many alls am I gonna do? Absolutely not. So it's all or nothing.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah.
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 And yeah.
So what are you going to do to celebrate?
I'm going to dinner. Oh, we're gonna go. My team's taking me out to dinner.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
And then on the 21st, we're doing the Music Managers Forum Awards.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna be closing that, and then we travel. Oh, I've got a shoot. Now I'm talking about the schedule.
Yeah. Stuff's happening. And then you hopefully get a bit of a break. Do you get a bit of a break over Christmas kind of time and then back on tour next year?
If I was going to take gigs in South Africa, I wouldn't have a break. But this December, I'm doing absolutely none of that.
Yeah.
Going to be resting, preparing for 2025's tour.
Amazing.
So we're going to be going back to SA for like a week and a half. And then we've got one more show in Munich. And in December, then we're free. We've got a full 3 weeks free in December.
Yeah.
And then January first week free. Then we fly back here for the launch.
Yeah.
So we've got to have a full 4 weeks of just, let's get it.
Yeah, and UK people, just make sure you buy a ticket to Moonchild's tour in March. It kicks off in March. Mm-hmm. And get down to one of those
Please do the right thing. Go to moonchildsanelly.com and do the right thing. Otherwise, you're missing out.
So before we wrap up, I just want to ask you, obviously, you put out the tune Big Man earlier this year with Self Esteem, who is a previous guest on the show, someone I've championed her for her whole career, and I've known her for the whole career, and I think she's awesome. And you guys have come together on this track that has just... The life of this track, it's so instant, this track. And I want to know, tell me about, like, how did that collaboration come through the producer, or how did you meet each other?
Yeah, it came through the producer. Yeah. Because while I was doing my project, she was also doing her project. So the recording we were doing in the UK, we were in Margate.
Margate, yeah.
She also came through to record. And so, I mean, Johanna had been speaking about us to each other. And I'd seen her live on the last show I did with Gorillas 2022. That I'd seen her live. That's when I was like, I want to work with them. I want to work with the producer, she's like, I love the whole thing. And so when we met up, it was just, as you know, the energy you just described, it was like that. Yeah. In studio, like, it's like, and then when you just like, can you not just pick up the mail? You're in the house, I'm out here slaughtering, you know, it's like, and when they don't want to do this, and it's like, it was too easy a conversation. Yeah. That you've got two bad bitches that have dealt with the same rubbish. So it's like, it was too easy a summary for us to just take that chat into a song. Yeah. It was too beautiful. I call our energy elite energy. Like, just us together was just wildly, effortlessly, purely fucking magical.
Yeah. And the song is a banger.
Thank you.
And the video, oh my God, when I watched the video, I was like, this is so sick. I just loved it. And like the combination of you two, and just you're both fierce AF. Mm-hmm. And I just thought it was amazing.
I think it was the perfect combo.
Yeah. And is that now sort of fast become a moment in your sets? Like, it seems like people
absolutely.
Really,
Yes, it's part of the moments in my sets, definitely. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. So one day, do you think there'll be any more Self Esteem Moonchild Sanelly?
There's definitely another song that's coming out of Self Esteem's album with me. There's already, we recorded it already. Direct opposite of this one, but it's also another way where we just like connected so crazy that we were in a dark room and in a bright room. And so it was just beautiful. So there's definitely something coming out. I mean, I also found out when we were launching Big Man, because I be talking too much. But I do know this information I can share because she shared it first. For a change. Yeah. I can share. So like, there is definitely another song that's coming out from the two of us. We did 2 songs that time. So it's looking forward to it because I love me some Self-Esteem. So, I love Becca. She's awesome.
Yeah, she's so great. Oh, that's very exciting news. So yeah, you heard it here. Moonchild Sanelly, it's been such a pleasure. I've loved meeting you.
It's over.
And I love the music, and just keep doing what you're doing because it's just amazing to see.
Thank you very much.
And let's finish on Big Man.
Okay,
let's play it, and we're gonna crank it up in the studio.
Let's go, because I'm a motherfucking Big Man buddy, yo!
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.